यशोदा यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 जय राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौर निताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, समस्त भक्त वृंद की जय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 17. Sahasra-yuga-paryantam ahar brahmaṇo viduḥ rātriṁ yuga-sahasrāntāṁ rātriṁ yuga-sahasrāntāṁ te ho-rātra-vido janāḥ sahasra-yuga-paryantam ahar brahmaṇo viduḥ rātriṁ yuga-sahasrāntāṁ te ho-rātra-vido janāḥ sahasra-yuga-paryantam ahar brahmaṇo viduḥ rātriṁ yuga-sahasrāntāṁ te ho-rātra-vido janāḥ sahasra-yuga-paryantam ahar brahmaṇo viduḥ rātriṁ yuga-sahasrāntāṁ te ho-rātra-vido janāḥ sahasra-yuga-paryantam ahar brahmaṇo viduḥ rātriṁ yuga-sahasrāntāṁ te ho-rātra-vido janāḥ paryantam ahar brahmaṇo viduḥ rātriṁ yuga-sahasrāntāṁ te ho-rātra-vido janāḥ. Sahasra, 1000, yuga, millenniums, paryantam, including ahaḥ, day, yat, that which, brahmaṇaḥ, of Brahma, viduḥ, they know, rātriṁ, night, yuga, millenniums, sahasra-antām, similarly ending after 1000, te, they, ahar, ahar-rātra, day and night, vidaḥ, who understand, janāḥ, people. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By human calculation, 1000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Purport. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dvāpara and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yuga lasts 17,28,000 years. In the Tretā-yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 12,96,000 years. In the Dvāpara-yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 8,64,000 years. And finally in Kali-yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice, true virtue being practically non-existent. And this yuga lasts 4,32,000 years. In Kali-yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as the Kalaki avatar, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya-yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas rotating 1,000 times, comprising one day of Brahma, and the same number comprises one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculations total to 311 trillion and 40 billion earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the Causal Ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the laws of material nature. Hare Krishna. So, this is 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is talking to Arjuna, and he has been explaining a certain point. In the previous few verses you will find that he has been explaining that whoever thinks of him at the time of death, ananya chetah satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. That Krishna says that I am very sulabh, I am very easily obtained for person who thinks of me constantly. Tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. And then he says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalyam ashashvatam. That this world is dukkhalyam ashashvatam. But anyone who thinks of me, napnuanti mahatmanam sansiddhim paramam gatim. Anyone who thinks of me at the time of death, he achieves me and he never comes back to this world. But the contrast, he says that abrahma bhuvanal loka punaravartino Arjuna. Anyone who goes to my abode does not come back. But in this material universe, if anybody stays without being purified, even if he reaches Brahmaloka, he is going to come back. So this point Krishna has been explaining, and in explaining these points, he starts saying that what is the lifetime of Brahma? Anybody who goes to Brahmaloka, what is the lifetime of such a person who goes to Brahmaloka? And what is the lifetime of Brahma? So in this verse, Krishna is explaining sahasra-yuga-paryantam. He's explaining that lifetime of Brahma is sahasra-yuga. Sahasra-yuga means 1000 kalpas. Prabhupada explains. Prabhupada has given the full calculations that how in Kali-yuga the age is 4,32,000 years. You go back one yuga, you will find Dvāpara, that is 8,64,000. You go one yuga back, you will find Treta, which is 12,96,000. And finally the Satya-yuga, which is the longest age, that is 17,28,000. So total, all the 4 yugas combined comes out to be 43,20,000 years. That is one Chatur-yuga. And Brahma's age is 1,000 Chatur-yugas, that is one day of Brahma. That's what is being explained in this verse. 1,000 Chatur-yugas together, that is one day of Brahma. And then similarly, the night of Brahma is again 1,000 Chatur-yugas. So therefore, when we see such figures, it looks fantastic. Prabhupada says it looks fantastic and interminable. Such long age of Brahma. So Brahmaji lives for 100 such years. That is one day and one night of Brahma we calculated. 43,20,000 years is one Chatur-yuga. Multiplied by 1,000 is 1,000 Chatur-yuga, that is one day of Brahma. Multiplied by 2 is 24 hours of Brahma. That is one day of Brahma in total. Multiplied by 365 is 1 year of Brahma. Multiplied by 100 is 100 years of Brahma. Looks unfathomable for us. Prabhupada says 311 trillion years. If you calculate, you will find 311 trillion 40 billion years. That is the age of Brahma, which is being discussed in this verse. So, Srila Prabhupada in this purport, you will find that he has given two very contrasting things. He is bringing out a contrast that how, if we compare the age of Brahmaji, the lifetime of Brahmaji, and we compare the lifetime of a human being, the lifetime of Brahma is unfathomable. It looks so great in front of a human being which lives just 100 years. What is 100 years in comparison to 311 trillion and 40 billion years? But at the same time, Prabhupada says in this purport that from the point of view of eternity, the lifetime of Brahma is just like a lightning flash. So here is a contrast we can see. So there are 2 points of views that we are looking at in this verse. One point of view is from Krishna's point of view, from eternity point of view. From eternity point of view, such a fantastic interminable figure of 311 trillion and 40 billion years is like a lightning flash. That's the life of Brahma. But from a general human being, from our point of view, when we see lifetime of Brahma, that is very great. So let's try to understand what is actual position of Brahmaji. His great position, his great lifetime, what does it mean for us? And what does it mean, how does it stand in front of Krishna, in front of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Just like Prabhupada says, it's like a lightning flash. So what the Shastra has to say about this? So in the Brahma Samhita, this is what is explained by Brahmaji himself. He says, Yasyaika nishvashita kalam athavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha. Yasyaika nishvashita kalam athavalambya. If you see from the point of view of Krishna, if you see from the point of view of eternity, it is like lightning flash. That's what Brahmaji is saying. Yasyaika nishvashita kalam athavalambya. What is lifetime of Brahma in front of Krishna? In front of Lord Mahavishnu? Nishvashita kala. That means the breathing time of Mahavishnu. As Mahavishnu inhales and exhales, as he exhales, millions of universes come out. And as he inhales, all the universes go in. As he exhales, there are millions of universes coming out. The whole creation begins. Brahmaji takes birth. He spends 311 trillion and 40 billion years. And as Mahavishnu inhales, he takes in, all the universes are destroyed. So this is what Brahmaji is saying. Yasyaika nishvashita kalam athavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha. He is Jagadandanatha. He is the master of this universe. But jivanti loma vilaja. How does he come into existence? Loma vilaja. Loma means pores of the body of Mahavishnu. So vilaja, he is born out of the pores of the body of Mahavishnu. Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha. Vishnu mahansa iha yasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Now we are looking at a contrast. Contrast is between Krishna and Brahmaji. Who is Krishna? Vishnur. Mahan iha yasya kala vishesho. Now we are talking about Brahmaji. Brahmaji is born out of the pores of Mahavishnu. He lives for the period of inhaling and exhaling of Brahmaji. That Mahavishnu is just a kala vishesha. Vishnur mahansa iha yasya kala vishesho. That Mahavishnu is just a kala. Kala means just a portion of Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this is contrast. This is how Brahmaji lives. So in comparison to Krishna, what is Brahmaji? Brahmaji is just as insignificant as, his lifetime is as insignificant as a lightning flash. So we find the same, very similar verse. If you compare, this is Brahmaji's lifetime in comparison to Krishna. We are looking at eternity point of view. Now what is Brahmaji's position in front of Krishna? Come to Mukunda Mala Stotra. We find what is Brahmaji's position in front of Krishna? Son, right? But from a position point of view, when we find, the Shastra says, Prithvi Renu Anuh Payansi Kanika. In front of Krishna, this whole earth looks like a Renu. Renu means a small speck of dust, that's all. Prithvi Renu Anuh Payansi. Payansi means the whole ocean. There are so many oceans. So much water is present in all those oceans. Mukundamala Sutra, Kulashekar Maharaj says Anu. In front of Krishna, it is like a drop. It's not even drop, it is as insignificant as a drop. Prithvi Renu Anu Payansi Kanika Falgu Spulingo Laghus Teja Nishwashanam Marutanutaram. He says the entire element of air, the entire element of fire is like a spark in front of Krishna. Krishna's opulences. The entire air element is like the entire Marut Tanutaram is like a breathing. You know, how much air is there in breathing? It's insignificant. So when we compare, this is how it is. Now what is position of Brahma? He says, Shudra Rudra Pitamah Prabhritayah Kita Samasrasura. Rudra, Brahma, Pitamah. Pitamah is the name of Brahma. Shudra. Shudra means insignificant. They are nothing in comparison to Krishna. Shudra, Rudra, Pitamaya, Prabhritaya, Kita Samastasura. And what about demigods? They are like insects. Drishte Yatra Satarako Vijayate Shripad Dhuli Kana. Now, Mukundwala Sotra, Kulashekar Maharaj is not saying this is in comparison to Krishna, not even Krishna. He says, Drishte Yatra Satarako Vijayate Shripad Dhuli Kana. A speck of dust of Krishna's lotus feet, Mukunda's lotus feet. This is what happens in front of a speck of dust of Mukunda's lotus feet. Prithvi, Renu, Anu, Payansi, Kanika, Falgu, Spulingo, Laghus. Brahma and all other demigods, they are like Kita Samastasura. So this is Brahmaji's, this is what we are comparing. Brahma in front of Krishna. He is insignificant. That's why Prabhupada says in the Purport, it's like lightning flash. The lifetime of Brahma is like lightning flash. But then, if we come back and try to compare our lives with Brahma, then how does it look? It looks fantastic and interminable. It certainly looks fantastic, 311 trillion and 40 billion years compared to us. So if we compare a jiva with Brahma, a normal jiva like us, a human being, what is his position in comparison to Brahma? Now there is no use of comparing Brahma with Krishna. We could understand. Shudra Rudra Pitamaha, Tejo Nishwashanam Maruttanutaram. So there is no use of comparing. So let's try to compare Brahmaji with normal jivas. So we saw that the lifetime of Brahma is 311 trillion 40 billion years. What is lifetime of a jiva, a human being? 100 years at max. Srimad Bhagavatam goes on to say, Prayena alpayusha sabhya. Prayena, especially in this Kali-yuga, Prayena alpayusha. All the human beings have alpa ayusha. Kalavasmin yuge jana, manda sumanda matyo, manda bhagya upadrata. So where is lifetime of a human being in comparison to Brahmaji? Nothing. So this is the contrast we are seeing. In comparison to Brahmaji, Krishna's position is much greater. In comparison to us, Brahmaji's position is much greater. So this is lifetime of Brahmaji. Now let's try to understand what is the position of Brahmaji in comparison to a jiva. So again in Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji himself explains his position. He says, Bhaswan yathashma sakaleshu nijeshu tejah swiyam kiyat prakatayatyapi tadvadatra brahmaya esha jagadanda vidhana karta govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Brahmaji explains his own position. In comparison to Jiva, his position is great. His position is glorious. So just like a Suryakant Mani, the brilliance of a Suryakant Mani comes from where? Comes from Surya, comes from the sun. So similarly, the brilliance of Brahmaji, that he is able to create this entire universe. He is able to manage the entire affairs of the universes. From where that power is coming? Just like the brilliance of Suryakant Mani comes from Surya, similarly the power of Brahmaji, the position of Brahmaji is so great that he is empowered by Krishna himself directly. So this is what Brahmaji explains, that bhasvan yatha, just like Surya, it empowers, it gives brilliance to Surya Kantmani. Similarly, Krishna gives his own potency, his creative potency to Brahmaji and allows him to create. So this is Brahmaji's position in front of a jiva. Brahmaya esya jagadanda vidhana karta, and he is known as Vidhi. He is called vidhana karta. He creates all the rules and regulations in this entire universe. So his position is great in front of a jiva, in front of a human being. There are so many demigods, there are so many human beings, there is only one Brahma in the entire universe. So his position is so great. So in terms of lifetime, his position is great. In terms of his position in this universe, his position is great. If we compare ourselves with Brahma, if we compare a human being with Brahma. Now in terms of intelligence, what is Brahmaji's intelligence? If we try to compare Brahmaji's intelligence with a normal human being, Brahmaji has been said that his body is made up of the intelligent element, the intelligence element. Just like our body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. As we go up in this universe, the body of demigods, they do not have earthly elements. They have more fiery, airy elements. Because we have more earth element in our bodies, therefore we stay on earth. This is the philosophy. Because we have more earthly elements. And those who can fly, like the demigods, they have more air elements, ether elements. And as we go up, the grosser elements reduce and the subtler elements increase. So Brahmaji, who is staying in the highest abode of the universe, what element he has in his body? Now we have earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and ego. His whole body is made up of intelligence element, buddhi. Now how much intelligent Brahmaji would be? Therefore Brahmaji has been said Adi Kavi. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the very first verse explains that how when Krishna has to give knowledge of the Vedas, he chooses Brahmaji. Because he is the right person, he is the best person. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Adi Kavi Brahma. He, Krishna, gives knowledge to Adi Kavi Brahma. Such is the intelligence of Brahmaji. Now what is intelligence of a Kali-yuga jiva? Mandah, Sumanda, Matayo, Manda Bhagya Upadrata. This is how Shastra is explaining. So this is a comparison that we are doing. That how Brahmaji's position and how a jiva's position is so contrasting, so different. Therefore Brahmaji, now that Brahmaji, who is the Adi Kavi, who is the most intelligent being in this universe, what he says about Krishna? He says, Jananto eva janantu, in his prayers to Krishna in 10th canto, 14th chapter, 38th verse. He says, Jananta eva janantu, kim bahuktya name prabho. Oh my Lord, there are many people who are saying that they know you. Let them say that they know you. But for me, what do I consider? Manaso, vapusho, vacho, vaibhavam tava gochara. Oh Krishna, I do not know you. I cannot understand you. Now this is Brahmaji, who is the most intelligent being. So how can we, being a human beings, whose position is such insignificant in front of Brahmaji, can understand Krishna? So Brahmaji only has given the answer. Athapi te deva padam bhujadvaya prasada leshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya ekopi chiram vichinvan. Even if somebody goes around the entire universe moving for long time, for millions and millions of years, he cannot know Krishna. Then how can he know Krishna? Brahmaji answers, Athapi te deva padam bhujadvaya prasada leshanugrihita evahi. Only by the mercy of Krishna one can know Krishna. This is what Brahmaji is saying. So our insignificant position and Brahmaji's great position, Brahmaji is saying, I do not know Krishna. So how can we know Krishna? So this is the intelligence of Brahmaji. And the intelligence of a human being is insignificant in comparison to that. Now this is, in terms of intelligence, he is so great. Now in terms of his dealings with the Lord, how does the Lord deal with Brahmaji? What is his position? So in the second canto, it is explained that how when Krishna actually explained the whole process of creation to Brahmaji, he shook hands with Brahmaji. Such is the position of Brahmaji. Like a friend. Srimad Bhagavatam explains, vidhiyatam priyah priyam preetmanah kare sprishan. Just like a friend, he shakes hands. So Krishna found Brahmaji the most intelligent, the most perfect, the most apt for this creation. And after explaining the whole process of creation, he congratulates Brahmaji, and this is the first handshake in the entire universe. And Krishna shakes hand with Brahmaji. So such is the position of Brahmaji. Lord Narayan is acting like a friend to Brahmaji. He's giving him the knowledge. In the 10th canto, again in the 10th canto, when Mother Earth approaches Brahmaji, that she is being afflicted by so many demons here in this universe, Brahmaji goes with all the demigods. And there he prays to Lord Narayan, Shirodakshai Vishnu. And only Brahmaji is able to hear the words of Narayan. So again, the position of Brahma is so great in comparison to a normal human being. So this is the position, this is the glorious position of Brahmaji. In terms of his lifetime, in terms of his position, in terms of his intelligence, in terms of his dealings with the Lord, he is so great. But, dear devotees, this position of Brahmaji, which is so great, you will find time and again in our Shastras, the devotees do not desire this position, even if it is so great. You will find in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vritrasur starts praying and he says, Nanaka prishtham na cha parameshtham, na sarva bhaumam na rasadhipatyam, na yoga siddhir apunar bhavamba samanjasatvam virahaya kangshe. Such great position of Brahmaji, as we saw in terms of his intelligence, in terms of his dealings with the Lord, that is not desired by any devotee. They say that if such position as Brahma, if I obtain such a position as Brahma, and if that separates me from the Lord, I do not desire to have that position. Na naka prishtham. I do not want Dhruva Loka. Now, Vritrasur is praying to Krishna in the battlefield. So, when we pray, what do? When we pray, we start asking, what do I want? But when devotees pray, they first tell what they do not want. So they start with the word na. Na naka prishtham. Oh Krishna, you might be thinking that I have come here for some material desire. No. I do not want all of this. First of all, let me clarify with you that I do not want na naka prishtham. I do not want Dhruva Loka. Na parameshtham. I do not want Brahma Loka. I do not want the position of Brahma. This is devotee's nature. So, na parameshtham, na cha sarva bhaumam. I do not want the entire kingdom of this world. Samanjasatvam virahaya kangshe. So devotees do not desire this position of even Brahmaji and even the demigods. If they do not get the service of the Lord, they do not desire to have the position of even such great position as Brahmaji. Similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we find a very similar verse where devotees are praying, Na yatra vaikuntha katha sudhapaga, na sadhavo bhagavatāstadāshraya, na yatra yagye shamakha mahotsava, shuresha lokopi na vaisa sevyatam, na yatra vaikuntha katha sudhapaga. If there is no beautiful pastimes of Lord Vaikuntha, if it is not present, na yatra vaikuntha katha sudhapaga, if the river of the pastime of Krishna is not flowing in a place, we do not want to go to that place. Na sadhavo bhagavatāstadāshraya. If such a place, na sadhavo, if there are no sadhus, if there is no Srimad Bhagavatam, Suresh lokopi navaija sevyatam. Even if it is the loka of Indra, even if it is Brahma's loka, we do not desire to go. If there is no service, na yatra yagye shamakha mahotsava. If there is no mahotsav, if there is no festivals being performed for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we do not desire to go. So at one point we find Brahma's position is so great, but a devotee who is completely surrendered to Krishna's holy name, to Krishna's holy fame, they do not desire Brahma's position. In fact, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he goes on to say that Bahirmukha Brahma, I do not want even the position of Bahirmukha Brahma. I want to become an insect. If being an insect, I can perform your devotional service. Kita janama hau jatha tua das bahirmukha brahma nahi mora as. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. So many prayers of devotees where they decline the position. They said, we do not want. Diyamanam na grihanati. What to speak of position of Brahma? The devotees do not even desire the position of the four kinds of liberation. What to speak of Sayuji Mukti? Sayuji Mukti Kaivalyam Narakayate. They think Kaivalya is like Narak. It is like hellish. But even the other four muktis, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarshti, Sarupya, all these four muktis, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Diyamanam na grihananti. Krishna is saying, Diyamanam, I give my devotees these four kinds of mukti. Diyamanam na grihananti. They do not take it. They do not accept it. Vina mat pada sevanam, if there is no service for Krishna. So this is devotee's position. They do not desire the position of even such great position as Brahma. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Prabhu tava pada joge mora nivedan. Again, in a very similar line, he says, Nahi mangi deha sukha vidya dhana jan. Nahi mangi swarga ara moksha nahi mangi. Na krori prarthana kono vibhutira lagi. Prabhu tava pada joge mora nivedan. So devotee says, again in the same line, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Prabhu tua pada yuge mora nivedan. This is my desire. I want this. So Krishna asks, what do you want? So first let me tell you what I do not want. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Prabhu tua pada yuge mora nivedan nahi magi deha sukha. I do not want the enjoyment for my body. Vidya dhana jan. I do not want followers. I do not want vidya. I do not want scholarship. All of this I do not want. Nahi mangi deha sukha. Vidya dhana jan. Nahi mangi swarga ara. I do not want swarga. I do not want even the position of Brahma. So devotees decline the position of Brahma. But on the other hand, you will find Brahmaji desires the position of devotees. This is Brahmaji's position. His position is so great. He has such long life, but he desires the position of devotees, and not being a devotee in his Brahma Loka. He says that I want to come here to this earthly planet and become a devotee of Krishna. Where do we find such proofs? We find in Brahma's prayer, in 10th canto, 14th chapter, Brahmaji is praying, Tadbhuri bhagyamiha janma kimapyatavyam. While praying to Krishna, Brahmaji committed a mistake by taking away the cowherd boys. Now he starts to pray to Krishna, that Krishna, please forgive me. Krishna doesn't even give a glance on Brahmaji. He's not even looking at Brahmaji. He's looking at who is this creature with four heads who has come here in this Vrindavan. And he's not even looking. So Brahmaji understands, oh, Krishna is really angry with me. Why Krishna was angry? Because the Acharyas have explained that Brahma's activity, although Brahma and Indra, Brahmaji and Indra, they both committed a kind of an offense towards Krishna. But Indra's offense brought all the Vrajvasis to one place, beneath the Govardhan hill. So Indra's offense was much greater in one way. Indra wanted to kill all the Vrajvasis. Indra's offense brings all the Brajvasis together with Krishna. Therefore, when Indradev starts to pray, Krishna gives all the attention to Indradev, forgives him very easily. And here is Brahmaji. His offense takes devotees away from Krishna in one way. Therefore, when Brahmaji is praying, Krishna is not giving even little attention. So Brahmaji starts to glorify the Brajvasis. Ahoti dhanya vrajagoramanya stanyamritam pitamatívate muda aho bhagyam nandagopa vrajokasam yanmitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatana. So as soon as Brahmaji starts to glorify Brajvasis, immediately Krishna looks at Brahmaji. Oh, now you have come to the right point. So Brajvasis, when Brajvasis are glorified, Krishna gives attention to such a devotee. So he starts looking at, but still. So then Brahmaji says that, oh Krishna, I have committed an offense. And what will I do with that such a high position which I have obtained? I have to live there in a managerial service for 311 trillion 40 billion years. Krishna, please relieve me from that service and give me a position in this Vrindavan. And he starts to pray, Tad bhuri bhagyamiha janma kimapyatavyam yad gokulepi katamangri rajobhishekam yad jivitam tu nikhilam bhagavan mukunda twadyapi yat padarajah shruti mrigyameva. He starts to say, Tad bhuri bhagyamiha janma kimapyatavyam. Oh Krishna, such glorious are your Vrajvasis. So what do you want then? I also want to become a Vrajvasi. Please give me birth in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So Brahmaji is praying to get birth in Vrindavan Dham. So do you want to become a human being? He says no. Yad gokulepi katamangri rajobhishekam. Give me anything. Make me an insect. Make me a plant in this Vrindavan so that I get the dust of the lotus feet of your devotees who are walking in this Vrindavan. So here we were seeing that devotees are declining the position even as great as Brahma. And here Brahmaji is desiring a position of a devotee in Vrindavan. Such is the glorious position of devotee in comparison to Brahmaji. Yad jivitam tu nikhilam bhagavan mukunda. These Vrajvasis, they have given up their entire life to you, O Mukunda. Therefore, I want to get the dust of your lotus feet. I want to get the dust of the lotus feet of your devotees in this Vrindavan. So please give me birth and relieve me from that service of as great as Brahma, where I have to manage all the managerial affairs of this entire universe. So Brahmaji does not want that. He wants to come here to Sri Vrindavan Dham and perform devotional service. So Brahmaji is desiring the position of a devotee. Now, such a position of a devotee, how great it is. Did Brahmaji get it? Srimad Bhagavatam says no. Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 9th chapter, while explaining the position of Mother Yashoda, Shukdev Goswami says, Nemam virincho na bhavo na shrirapyanga shanshaya prasadale bhire gopi yattat prapa vimuktidat. Nemam virincho. Virinchi means Brahma. Brahma did not get this position. What position? That position which was obtained by Mother Yashoda. Brahma got to shake hands with Krishna. But Mother Yashoda, what did she get? She gets to embrace Lord Krishna. She gets to feed Lord Krishna. She gets to chastise Lord Krishna. And she gets to bind Lord Krishna. Can Brahmaji get a position like that? Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami says, Nemam virincho. Brahmaji never got that position. Nemam virincho na bhavo. Even Lord Shiva did not get that position. Na shrir apyanga shanshraya. This position of a devotee in Sri Vrindavan Dham, even Lakshmi did not get that position. Now these are the three most important persons in a person's life. Brahmaji is the son of Krishna, son of Narayan. Lord Shiva is his own Swarup. And Shri is Ardhangini. of Lord Narayan. The wife, the son, and one's own Swarup. All these three, Nemam Virincho, Shukdev Goswami does not say one time. He says, Na Virincho, Na Imam Virincho, Na Bhavo, Na Shri. 3 times he says, to emphasize that they cannot get a position which is the position of a Brajvasi, which is the position of Mother Yashoda. Nemam Virincho, Na Bhavo, Na Shri, Apyanga Shanshraya, Prasad Lebhire Gopi. That mercy which was obtained by Mother Yashoda was not obtained by Brahmaji. Yattat prap vimuktidat. Krishna gives liberation, but such a position of a devotee in Golok Vrindavan, that position is very rare, even for Brahma. So this is the position of a devotee. Devotee does not desire the position of Brahma, but Brahmaji desires such a position. And even after performing so much austerities, even after praying to relieve me from his service, of managerial service, and get a place in Vrindavan Dham, he gets a position. In Brahmaji becomes a mountain in Barsana, so he gets a position in Shiv Vrindavan, but not a position like Mother Yashoda. This is what Srimad Bhagavatam says. Then Brahmaji becomes so ecstatic in glorifying the devotees of the Lord. In Padyavali, Srila Rupa Goswami says that how Brahmaji sees the devotees of Krishna. How Brahmaji sees a devotee who is chanting the holy names of Krishna. So in Padyavali, Srila Rupa Goswami quotes a very beautiful verse. He says that as soon as a devotee who is chanting the holy name, he desires to chant the holy name, not even chant the holy name. He says when he starts to desire to chant the holy name, what happens? He says, Vepante duritani moha mahima sammohamalambate satankam nakharanjani kalayati Shri Chitragupta kriti sanandam madhuparka sambhrita vidho vedha karotyuddamam vaktum namnitaveshwarabhilishiteh Brahmā kimanyat param. So this is a devotee who is desiring to chant. He says, Vaktum namni taveshwara bhilashite. When a devotee starts to desire to chant the holy name, what happens? Vepante duritani. All the duritanis, the sinful activities, they start to tremble in fear. Then moha mahima sammoha alambate. The illusion personified becomes illusioned. And Satankam Nakharanjani Kalayati Shri Chitragupta Kriti. Chitragupta, who takes a note of all sinful activities, his pen starts to tremble and he becomes doubtful. What should I write? Should I close his account or what should I do? This is a devotee who desires to chant. Again, he has not even started chanting. In our Mangal Arati, after attending Mangal Arati, when we start desiring to chant, this is all what is happening. Srila Rupa Goswami is saying. And then what about Brahmaji? What he does? He says, Sanandam madhuparka sambhrita vidho vedha karotyuddamam. Brahmaji, who is sitting in his Brahmaloka, what he does, Srila Rupa Goswami, he is quoting a verse in Padyavali, he says, Sanandam, with great pleasure, Madhupark, Brahmaji starts preparing a plate for Shodash Upchar. Madhu, honey, Madhupark, he starts preparing a plate for Shodash Upchar. For whom? Sambhrita vidho vedha karotyuddamam. And he takes great endeavor that this devotee, now he is going to chant the holy name. And before I am caught up in this material universe for 311 trillion, 40 billion years, and I have to manage this whole universe. But this devotee who is sitting in Vrindavan and he is chanting the holy names of the Lord, not even chanting, he is desiring to chant the holy name of the Lord, very soon he is going to cross this entire universe and go back home, back to Godhead. So now he is coming. Now from Brahma's point of view, what is 100 years? It's just like a moment. So within a moment, a devotee is now going to leave this world from Brahma's perspective and going to cross this Brahmaloka and go back to Golok Vrindavan. So when he crosses, what Brahmaji is going to do? He is preparing his plate so that when he crosses, he will do arati. This is Brahmaji's position. This is how Brahmaji is respecting devotees who are chanting the holy names of the Lord, who are hearing Krishna Katha, who are sitting in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So this is a contrast. Devotee is not desiring Brahmaji's position, but Brahmaji is desiring the position of a devotee. That may I get relieved from these managerial services and get a position in Sri Vrindavan, and I also chant in a very short period of time, I'll go back home, back to Godhead. So this is Brahmaji. Now, dear devotees, we got so much mercy. We are having the holy name with us. We are having the Sri Vrindavan Dham with us, which is desirable for even Brahmaji. We have Krishna Katha with us. We have Srila Prabhupada's mercy with us. All of this is there. Now we also have Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is explained that how Brahmaji desires the position of a human being to come to this earth, and he participates in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya avatare Krishna preme lubdha haya Brahma Shiva Shanakadi Prithavi te janmiya. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and this is what even today the Mahaprabhu's pastimes are happening in terms of Sankirtan movement that is spreading throughout the world. Prabhupada going to the west is also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. So Brahmaji is desiring a position to come and participate in this Sankirtan movement when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes here. Chaitanya avatare Krishna preme lubdhaya. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing the Krishna prem, Brahmaji is desiring that may I also get that Krishna prem. And he comes and takes avatar as Haridas Thakur, and he participates in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this, when we see our position, we'll find in one way our position is much better than even Brahmaji. We have got the holy name. We have got Krishna Katha. We have got Sri Vrindavan Dham. All of this, and we have got Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. All of this is being desired by Sri Brahmaji. So what is our position? Our position is so fortunate. But unfortunately, even if we have got such a wonderful fortune to get Sri Vrindavan, to get the holy name, to get to hear the pastimes of Krishna, to get to participate in the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are still not able to utilize it properly. Then what to do? Why we are not able to utilize? It's because of our own past activities, which we are all struggling. When we sit to chant holy name, we get sleepy. When we hear Krishna Katha, we feel sleepy. We don't feel interested. It doesn't feel nectar to us. So then our acharyas come to our help, because they know our condition. So they say that, okay, even if you are sitting in Vrindavan, I know what is troubling you. The old vasanas, the sinful activities from the millions of lifetimes that we have performed. But now, even after obtaining all the great fortunes, we are not able to utilize that great fortune. So acharyas come to our help and they tell us that how do you utilize? How will you be able to utilize this great fortune? Pray to Krishna. There is no other way. So in Sri Vrindavan Mahimamrit, Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, for devotees like us, who have got all the great fortune, just like a person who has got diamond, but he does not understand the value of a diamond. He is not able to utilize the diamond. So this is our position. We have got diamond-like opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime, in a very short period of time, in comparison to Brahmaji. But we are not able to utilize because of our old vasanas. So, knowing our condition, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad, he says, Durvasana sudridha rajju satair nibaddha. He knows our position, that Durvasana sudridha rajju. The ropes of Durvasanas, they are binding us very tight. Durvasana sudridha. the ropes are very tight and shatair. They are not just one ropes. There are so many vasanas filled up in our mind, which is not allowing us to utilize this great opportunity. Durvasana sudridharajju shatair nibaddha akrishya sarvata idam swabalena Krishna. So I am not able to perform devotional service because of the Durvasanas. So Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad says that, oh, then you pray to Krishna. Oh Krishna, akrishya sarvata idam. You only attract me because your name itself is Krishna. Sarva akarshak. Krishna. Krishi bhuvachaka shabda nashya nivritti vachaka. Tayoraikya parabrahma Krishna iti vidiyate. Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure. If he desires to attract us, all our vasanas will be completely vanquished. So this is what Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad says, that even if you are not able to chant, sitting in Vrindavan Dham, still the Durvasanas are coming. Still we are not able to utilize the full opportunity of this human form of life and go back home, back to Godhead. Then they have given us, pray to Krishna. By their own strength, by Krishna's own strength, Swabalena Krishna, oh Krishna, please attract me towards you. Vrindavane viharatah saharadhayate padaravinda savidham naya manasamme. Oh Krishna, may my mind, which is filled with Durvasanas, get attracted to you by your own strength, not my strength. Because you are Sarva Akarshak. And Vrindavane Viharatum. And may my mind rest in the pastimes where you are roaming around in Vrindavan with all your associates, with Srimati Radharani, and may my mind reside in that. So this is how our acharyas are helping us, explaining such a great fortunate position that we have in this human form of life compared to Brahmaji, and how we can utilize it to go back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.